Hello there.
No,
How are you?
it was fine until about half an hour ago.
Yeah, should have told you.
No. Sad. I can't handle sad.
That's especially sad. It's a sad movie to begin with. We don't need to bring it back up again. You're looking like you're gonna tear up again.
Well, you gotta give context, I guess.
Gene Hackman died,
That was not it.
but it was still sad.
Yes, not this sad though.
What's your favorite Gene Hackman role?
I can't even remember. I just know Superman.
It's a good role.
I know it is a great role. I know I've seen him in more recent things, but I have a memory of a gnat, so I can't remember.
Unforgiven.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He's great, man.
See, you have a good memory for music and movies and everything. I do not.
Well, my memory runs out though as soon as I get to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Always one that never makes it through the final list. But yeah, actually, I would also say the Royal Tenenbaums. I love them in the Royal
Oh,
Tenenbaums
yeah.
as Royal Tenenbaum.
Yes.
Very good movie.
You love those movies, Wes Anderson.
It's not to love.
Yeah. But what Andrew did tell me was about the
Oh,
little girl from All Dogs Go to Heaven.
yes.
If you're interested, you can go and look it up. But
Just
I
Google it. It's not happy.
started bawling.
Kind of ruined dinner.
Yeah. I mean, I handle sad things all the time.
It's fair.
Like the kids that I work with, I'm just so sad for them all the time
For what reason?
because I see a lot of complex kids. Just how they're treated by peers, by teachers, sometimes by parents, but
Hmm.
like it just breaks my heart.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff put upon them. And I mean, other people's issues and expectations and negativity. And
Well, I saw one kid like when he was in kindergarten, and he's like already saying that people don't want him in his class and things like that. And I actually just saw him again recently. So now he's in grade 3. And he's like, I'll just never get a reward because I have a crazy bad brain. So I'm never going to be able to achieve it. And I'm just always going to be bad. It breaks my
yeah,
heart.
it's a tough one.
Like, dude, it's not your brain. It's about the environment. You're not in the right environment because look, here, you're never in trouble with me, right? Like, we've got boundaries, we've got expectations, and you follow them.
So he needs more Willy Wonka than the outside the warehouses.
What does that mean?
Well, you think about it. There are rules to follow within Willy Wonka's warehouse and where he manufactures all the treats.
Hmm.
But there are spectacular and inexplainable things that occur in each one of those areas. But he only requires a couple of rules, and then you're free to do what you want. But there's repercussions if you don't. Whereas outside, there's so many more rules and so little ability to be who you really are.
Okay, I do like that analogy. I thought it was somehow going to be a diss against me
No, why would I ever diss you?
because you do all the time.
Hmm, I don't diss you. The only thing I would say about Willy Wonka that I could diss is Grandpa Joe was a lazy layabout in bed until he got a free ticket to go to the factory with Charlie, and then he went. Where was that energy the other years when the family's starving there, Joe?
Hmm.
Grandpa Joe's a bit of a jerk.
All right.
Do you know that the scene where Willy Wonka comes out, spoiler alert to anybody that hasn't seen the original Willy Wonka, when Gene Wilder walks out and everybody's hushed and waiting and he walks in and trips because he's on the cane and he falls over.
Mhm.
Do you know this one? I think
No, I think you've told me, yeah.
oh, I'm repeating myself. But anyways, he made an agreement with the director that he was going to walk with a cane and pronounce lip or limp and then fall. And he does a somersault and then jumps up and He's obviously fine and has no limp and everything. And the reason he did that was because it establishes a perception of Willy Wonka that the audience can never fully trust whether he's embellishing or whether he's telling the truth.
Mm.
So that's why he did it. And the director didn't want to do it. Flat out said, no, I don't like that idea at all. And Gene Wilder's like, well, I'm going to do it. And so he went out and did it.
Mm.
So there you go.
Maybe I didn't actually know that.
Just dropping tons of Willy Wonka useful stuff for you today.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And he probably murdered a lot of those kids. Just so we're clear, Veruca Salt probably.
What?
Never mind, I'm kidding.
Well, after the all dogs go to heaven.
No, I didn't mean real life. Like Willy Wonka let a lot of those kids get themselves into really tricky situations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, should we jump in? I mean, I've got so much more debriefing that we could do. So
Yeah.
much has been going on.
Let's debrief then.
But
Let's get some weight off you
I
here.
don't want to take off. No, it's okay.
No, let's do it.
No, I guess the biggest one recently is just coming to terms with an adult child.
Oh, ours.
Ours, yeah.
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 Yeah. I don't know that I'm struggling with it. It is odd, I will admit. But here's my take on it, because everybody's saying that, right? Like, how do you feel? Like, so for context, we had a friend of ours whose birthday was over the weekend. Very good friend. We've known him since before any of us had kids. So our kids have kind of grown up around each other. And for his party, he had rented out part of the main floor of a pub in town. And it was cool by local liquor laws for kids to be there until 9. Minors could stay until 9, and then they had to clear out. So the invite was for everybody, which was very nice, because we have a Christmas party every year that we keep open to everybody. And we like to think that we have an environment where the kids want to come and hang out and reconnect with all the other kids and whatever. But more importantly, they have a chance to be a part of what I hope is healthy adult social situations, right? So to paint the picture, like our friend's parents were there. He had family in from out of town. There was kids from the age of like 5 all the way up to our kids and his kids who are adults now. They're 18 and 19 years old. And I was thinking about this because a lot of people kept saying how weird it is that she's here and how weird it is that she like took part in the toasts and several other toasts that we weren't aware of. But
she made one of your friends cry from
again, not a tough one. He's the crier. And he's very sweet, but he's the crier. But it really comes down to I'm not really finding it that weird because we've always included our kids in situations like that, right? Like what I did notice though, there are friends of ours that have a very strong separation between adult stuff and kid stuff. And I'm not saying kids should be able to have free reign to do things that are, adult oriented, but in those situations, yeah, like this is a safe place for her and our kids. And so I'm used to my kids being in situations like that. I'm used to us having parties where kids are wandering around. And yeah, they weren't of age to drink and they didn't, but not struggling with it as much as I thought I would.
No. It was funny though, like she couldn't feel the roof of her mouth at one point.
I forgot she was standing up at one point.
Yeah, like those little things are hilarious and it's just another weirdness. Well, I still have moments of like, you were in my belly. Like I created you. I still have that.
Yes,
like that. That's
to their horror.
So I have a lot of weirdness, but this was just a whole, like I do like it. There's other pieces. I won't go into those that are really hard for me to swallow, but yeah, it's just interesting that, oh yeah, she can. And just watching like, yeah, other friends buying her drinks and
yeah.
Wanting to go party with her now. And it's interesting. It is
interesting. I think, yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I still haven't fully wrapped my head around it because there are times where I have to catch myself and go, oh,
well, she's still like my papaya. She's way more cuddly than she has been in a while. The world is a
scary place when you're out there on your own.
I know. I am sad tonight. For months, she's been talking about this field trip and so excited, and I wanted to go with her. And then last night, she dropped the ball. Or not the ball, like that she messed up, but she just dropped the hammer, I guess. Deemed me too old to go.
Yeah, because looking at stars is a young person's game.
She just said I'd look too old to join. People would think it was weird, but whatever. Anyway, we should probably move on.
All right.
What's your topic today, sir?
Well, I thought we were going to keep debriefing. I thought you had more topics.
Ah, it's all right.
My topics, speaking of our daughter and that outing, may I read something to you?
Yeah.
The road to the observatory is locked, so like we're just sitting here on the side of the highway.
Ah.
Have fun. Don't get hit by a vehicle.
That's twice now she's been on the side of the highway out by Millerville.
Yeah, I think she really needs to stop going there because I had to help her the first time. I'm not going to help her this time. I already gave her a car with fuel in it. So, do you know the Muffin Man? No, I'm kidding. Do you know what lighthouse parenting is?
I feel like I have definitely heard the term.
So, obviously, we know helicopter parenting.
Yeah.
We know all of that. So, there's apparently a bigger trend going on. Um, which is essentially setting your kids up. So, and I don't know, this isn't the entire topic. This is just one of the things that's come up. But essentially, the movement is more around parents keeping their kids from mortal danger, but otherwise just letting them do whatever so that they learn, which is something that you and I are kind of big proponents of. The question I have is, do you think, from a parenting or a societal standpoint, we are too focused on labeling and defining something? Or do you think it matters? Because as I read this, I'm like, we refer to helicopter parents all the time, but at the end of the day, there's always a version of those in every generation. Nosy
Yeah.
parents, right? Scared parents, helicopter parents, whatever. Like, do you think that by labeling things, overtly labeling things, or trying to find the next quote unquote trend, we're doing a bigger disservice to the ability for people to parent?
It's an interesting point. So it's, it's interesting, and I'm taking it a bit too far, but I always talk about, I teach and supervise assessments.
Yes.
And
For the record, she never performs them on me. I'm fine. I don't need to be assessed. Continue.
well, and diagnostic assessments, right? And so, this is a big thing that I teach students. I mean, I take a very trans-diagnostic approach, meaning I'm not looking for a label, right? If somebody comes in to me and says, I think my kid's autistic, I'm not going to try to find yes or no, your child does or does not have autism. I look at the broad picture of where are their strengths,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of, like, when we look at the DSM, which is our Bible for diagnostic criteria, for example, it will outline all of the symptoms, right? All of the
Yeah.
criteria. But some of those criteria, like, well, just because we're on autism, I'll use that. One of the criteria is, fixated interests. Well, those interests are passions. That's actually this kid's strength. So why are we pathologizing it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Same thing with ADHD, right? Hyperactivity is a symptom. There's a deficit there, but that hyperactivity is actually a strength. And especially when we look at athletes or performers, right? Like, that's some of their greatest assets. So it's looking at, maybe there's circumstances, and it's usually about the environment. So that interest that a child might have is a strength. Just sometimes it might get in the way if there's other things that they need to be doing, right? So then it's, how do we support them in that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or the hyperactivity, if it's getting in the way of this kid's friendships, okay, how are we going to support this kiddo to be successful in that situation? So taking a transdiagnostic, like, I'm looking at the big picture without the label.
Right.
And I think we get so caught up in the label that we lose the plot somewhere along the line. Personally, I find that, right? And it doesn't give us a path forward. Okay, great. So we fall into this category, but what does that mean? What's the so what?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's not about labeling things. It's just looking at what are the common themes and of it, well, and mechanisms really is what it is. What are the common mechanisms that make parenting effective in supporting their children's growth and development? So whatever we call it, I don't care about the label.
Hmm.
I look at the mechanisms. What is it that we need to do? And when we come to the basics across any culture and generation, across, and that's the trans piece, right? Is validation, listening, feeling safe and loving, that non-judgmental, positive regard for our children, regardless of their behavior, boundary setting, and then independence, right? And like letting them not know every minute of every day, right? Living with uncertainty and getting uncomfortable. And, so I could lay all of those out, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, so what I'm hearing is that you would call it label free parenting.
Sure.
But the reason why I'm doing that is part of the reason I think that's a very well thought out and a very good answer. I like that answer.
But,
There's no but. Um, where I think I was going to take a much, not a much, but for me, all of everything you said is absolutely spot on and it's correct. And I think that's the important piece to hear. What I think that people also need to understand as well is they need to look at from an outside perspective, labels are a way of creating a specific behavior. Parenting as a whole and kids and children is a multi-billion dollar industry. The only way to continue to introduce new ways of selling things is
mm,
to have new labels. And the
mm,
only way to ensure that people buy into those is to make them scared or make them want or make them emotionally attached to the thing they don't have, right? So these articles, and again, I want to stress everything you said is exactly what I think parents should be doing. I would just add that stop and take a breath and think, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? And what is it that any one particular thing that you're doing actually lends itself to? Because helicopter parenting, at some point, parents helicopter, right? It's not that you are or are not. Do some people do it a lot more often? Yeah. So stop and ask yourself, really, as a parent, what is the behavior you're trying to exhibit and demonstrate? And what is the behavior you're trying to make sure your child learns to incorporate in their own way, right? Because everything is out. This is where I start to sound like a conspiracy theory. As parents, articles like the one that I pulled this from are designed to do nothing but drive you to a certain outcome, which is to feel inadequate, to feel like you need to do more, to feel like you need to do something else or get something else to help you do that. And it's a distraction from the fact that at the end of the day, you need to stop and think about what behaviors you feel are important, how you can demonstrate and teach your kid those behaviors, and then how you can give them the opportunity to apply those teachings in real life scenarios. And whether you do it close beside them or from afar is irrelevant at the end of the day, because you need to make sure that you're not so focused on the what as opposed to the so what or the why.
because it's not so binary, black and white. And I think that that's what so many of these things, even like with diagnoses, it's yes or no, black and white. But there's so many contextual pieces. Like I keep using autism as an example, but there's so many great examples. So, one of the things that they say is with autistic people, they can't read other people's feelings. They can. They're not great with neuromajority. And I think I've talked about this
Yeah.
on the podcast before, right? So they're not great reading neuromajority feelings, but they're great at reading other neurodivergent autistic people's feelings. And similarly, neuromajority people aren't great at reading autistic feelings, right? Whereas
Mhm.
they can read other neuromajority. So context matters. And even when we look at these things, so, helicopter curling parents on one hand, and then free range parents on the other. some, just as you said, I mean, some pieces of that are needed. To do it all or nothing is not great for either camp. But there's pieces that are needed in certain contexts at certain ages for certain children in certain situations, right? And
Yeah.
so it's always that's that trends piece where we're looking at for this child in this context at this given time. It's going to vary from, but it's coming back to those basic foundational pieces. I think this is, yeah, great because we do sway, but and that's the problem with the internet these days. I mean, we're just so overwhelmed too with,
It's a barrage, right?
yeah.
And I mean, at a darker level, it's to distract you from things that are going on that at a bigger level. But from a day-to-day family connection relationship level, it really shapes your emotional, not attachment, but your ability to distance yourself from the situation in a way that you can really see the important part, right? And we have friends that talk about this. We sometimes, think about, are we doing the right thing? Are we not? Are we whatever? But we have a fairly solid core tenets that we pretty much orbit as much as we can. And again, I say, it's not like you said it earlier. It's not about perfection, right? Like it's not. There's no perfect parent. There's no perfect kid. There's no perfect family. But there is an opportunity to establish your own core value or North Star or whatever you want to call it, right? Using labels, whatever you want to call it, that'll allow you to come back to that central point. Like think of it, in my mind, it's like you're playing a video game and you're a huge gamer. Like you play them all the time, and so you'll get this for sure. Okay.
I just found out that there's like a P4 and they're like PS. I'm like, oh yeah, PS4. And they're like pretty like there's probably another
There
version.
is a PS5.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at least I knew P something.
Yeah.
I
Do you know what the P stands for?
oh, no idea.
Do you know what the PS stands for? Because it's the same thing.
No.
PlayStation.
Oh,
Sony
oh
PlayStation
yeah,
4.
yeah, maybe I did know that. I had a Nintendo.
Did
Actually,
you?
no, I didn't.
There. I
My
was gonna say,
neighbor
did you?
had an Atari. I did have an Atari.
Okay, can you go a step further? Did you have a ColecoVision?
I don't know.
It was right around the same time.
Probably not. It was just a little one joystick with a button. That was it.
See, again, it's but simple. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Just one button. No, but what I was going to say is you have to approach life. That's
Superstation. I,
Superstation.
is that a
That's the
thing?
TBS Superstation from the 90s.
I feel like we had a Didn't you and I, when we were first living together?
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a thing for sure.
Yeah.
We've had most of them up until like probably the PS2 or PS3.
Well, I never played. I remember playing Mario Kart with the Superstation.
So perfect. Use your experience from Mario Kart. So as parents, once you kind of establish this, and you can do it at any point in time, and frankly, in my opinion, as the real expert on this podcast, in my opinion, she can't see it, but her eyebrows raised slightly and she looked away.
Mhm.
It's about checking in with what you think that is at any given time. To your point, there is no black and white. Things change, you change, kids change, life changes. Does what you thought was important before still resonate? But as you move forward, whatever it is, as you move forward in life, that thing that you've established as your belief system or your North Star or whatever, that's like a save point in a game, right? You get to a point where you can't go forward anymore, or you need to step away for it, or you can always go back to that save point and keep going. And that's what you need to look at it as, is really avoid the labeling, figure out what it is that you want to try and adhere to, and then come back to it when you need to, in whatever fashion you need to. But to your point also, it's not about black and white. Black and white black and white kills so many positive parts of the human experience, right? This either or, this or that. There's nothing positive in only having one side to stand on. You need to be able to straddle multiple viewpoints and pick the one that works in that situation. That always comes back to whatever your driving factor is. Simple as that. So, yeah, I would think anytime that you're coming up against anything that's labeling how you do something with your kid, take a big step back and really think about what it is that they're trying to get you to think about, because I guarantee you 99% of the time it's coming from a place of deficiency
Yeah.
where you're not doing enough or you need to do more of this. At the end of the day, not going to help anybody.
Yeah. 360 parenting.
360 parenting.
Well, as we were thinking of that, I mean, this is the problem, especially like, and we've talked about just the polarization, right? That's
Yeah.
happened, especially with social media, where we've got liberal and we've got conservative. I mean, it always comes back to politics, but we've got all just this very, very black and white that's further and further away. But we get sucked down those rabbit holes, right? And then we look up, oh my gosh, lighthouse parenting. And now all of a sudden we're going to be getting all of this algorithm and, just
Mhm.
whatever supporting that angle. And we're not taking that 360 lens, right? We need to be able to look at all views critically and evaluate. And like that's what it is. It's critical thinking
Mhm.
and
Which is
applying it to this situation with my child.
which is one of the number one skills that kids aren't learning anymore,
I know.
right? So yeah, it struck me as interesting because as we go into this podcast, I'm trying to find topics and things to talk about and whatever. That one came up a few times, and it just dawned on me as I read like the third article about it that I'm like, this is literally a common sense thing. Like they've labeled something that is truly common sense, which is don't let a kid die, but don't shelter them from the world or else they're not going to learn. That's essentially what it is. But someone slapped lighthouse parenting onto it and books and articles and podcasts and whatever about it. It's like just breathe,
Yeah.
right? Take a second, figure out how you want to behave, because that's ultimately what your kid's going to remember.
I think we need to, like, we're just monitoring everything. I've actually stopped wearing my Fitbit for the past month or so. I don't know. I'm not sold on it, but just my sleep,
Mhm.
right? I don't sleep great. And so I was using it and tracking. But every time I only got 4 hours sleep, which is pretty much like 85% of the time, I never get more than 5 hours
Yeah.
sleep ever. I just stress myself out, worry about dementia and things like that. So I'm like, I'm just going to stop tracking. So I have no idea. I'm still probably only getting 4 hours sleep, but I'm not worried so much about it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, well, and I've even told parents this who are doing this and this therapy and that therapist and this like physio and speech and whatever, like all of these things, or they're exhausted. I'm like,
Mhm.
sometimes we just got to stop all of that and stop everything and just be.
Mhm.
Just be with your kid.
Mhm. Build a room that looks like a library that's filled with tons of pictures that you can just wander into as a safe place.
Since we've done that, like I just find maybe that's the answer. Maybe it's library.
That's it. We're going to make millions off of this.
Because yeah, like we have like the girls are, I don't know if the correlation, if there is a correlation or a causation, I don't know, but that room
It's a
is
safe, quiet place.
awesome for all of us. And the girls, if any of us are sitting in there at any time, the girls want to come in and just
Mhm.
chill. Usually I just want to read my book, but that's okay.
Well, and if the girls aren't home and you want to go in there, the puppies are always happy to come in with you.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just like that little connecting point. And there's no screens in there, right? Like it's just to sit and connect and but there's no expectations, right? Like that's where there is no parenting, that we're
Yeah.
just being.
Yeah. Being parents.
Well, there's
Ooh.
mindful parenting. Well, I'm just thinking, even attachment parenting. I mean, when
Everything
you
can be labeled.
everything's labeled, and even those things when they're taken to the extreme,
Mhm.
right? And even attachment-based protocols have killed children. Just gonna say that.
God, that escalated quickly.
Well, I know. Yeah, but it has.
Yeah,
It's like
anything
in
that's
the
a
early
rigid
2000s,
framework.
there's a couple of kids who actually died by people who believe so strongly in this attachment protocol, right?
Mhm.
And so,
I think you mentioned that to me before. Yeah,
yeah, they
that makes
actually
sense.
smothered the kid,
Like
suffocated,
literally,
literally suffocated. Yeah,
that's that part of a protocol
I know.
because they were attached to air and they wanted to show them that they didn't need it. That's odd.
They needed to show the child that, yeah, they were loved so much. Not my kind of loving where I squeeze the kids, like, oh, I
Mm.
love you so much. Not that kind of stuff. But
So one that's more about I love you so much with a pillow. That's the difference.
essentially.
I'm not really seeing a big difference here, babe.
Yeah, it's scary. But anyway, I won't get into that stuff, but that's just to the extreme, right?
And that's it, right? Like I think at the end of the day, have your views, do whatever, and feel strongly about what you feel strongly about, but come back to center. Come back, find out what that center is.
Center.
Centrist parenting.
I'm sure it's already been called.
I'm
I,
gonna
I like
Google
the
it
train
later.
tracks. Like, where is this train going? In a year from now, if you follow this path, where do you think you and your child are going to end up? If you don't like it, how do you jump? Like, which track do you need to get on?
Hmm.
And you can jump, but you're going to be jumping all the time,
Hmm.
right? Like from what as they get older but I like the save point too from the
Man, I'm just dropping
yeah,
knowledge for you today.
good metaphors. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cool.
I'm gonna go Google centrist parenting.
All right. I'm sure there's like child-centered parenting or
I'll figure out a way to get around it.
yeah.
We're gonna be rich.
Mm. Well, it's the same thing with weight loss. Like, oh, there's just so much information. You gotta do this, you gotta do that, and you gotta blah blah blah. It's like a fad diet for parenting.
But here's the thing about that, any of those things, and that's exactly the point I'm making as well, is once you label it, you can argue either side of it.
Hmm.
And that's where, and I'll use profit as the word, but that's where people profit off of it,
Yeah.
right? You may love it, but there's a whole bunch of people that'll just pick it apart. And then what does that do? It makes you question it, and then you swing another way. And then, so you, by listening to that and focusing on those things and looking at the labels and how they align to it, you lose the ability to truly figure out what is important to you, what matters to you and your family, and then coming back to that point. That's it. So just question it. Question who benefits from whatever it is that's resonating with you, but really look at what it resonates and see if that's part of that central ideal, right? That central point for you, and then go back to that.
Yeah. Sounds good. Maybe stop reading the internet, stop reading books,
Just don't
stop
plug the internet.
just
Stop reading books,
well, like about
self-help books.
parenting, self-help. Yeah, none of those are good.
Everything out there is meant to make you feel bad about yourself, so you buy more things. So stop with those things.
Yeah, just stop.
That's it.
Keep listening to us though,
Yeah,
because
because we
we're
don't,
good.
and we
We're
don't make
good.
money off of this at all.
I
Like
don't
we don't
know.
make
We
a
gotta
cent.
figure out how. If anybody knows how, to the two listeners, your mom, my mom. I don't think your mom listens. My mom listens
Our daughter listens because she doesn't want us to
every
say
so
stuff about her.
every so often. If she thinks that we've talked about her, she'll listen. So that's probably the other download.
How does she know?
Well, I don't know.
She must be on the internet.
Sometimes we mention we talked about you.
Yeah, because it's usually something they've done that's dumb. And I
Yeah.
want them to know that more people know that they did something dumb.
Yeah. Sometimes they eavesdrop outside the door.
Neither of them are here, though.
Neither of them are here.
Yeah.
Good
Good day.
day.